Good morning, John.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're doing
Hey,
okay.
buddy.
So tell us about the change at D coordinator. To us, it kind of feels like Jack's the fall guy, but the defense, look, you're ranked dead last in points per game, 29th in yardage.
I mean, look, we live and we play in a production-based world and a production-based league. And when the defenses play like we played, heads are going to roll. I mean, that's only natural. I do not think Coach Del Rio was the entirety or the sole reason why we, where we are. But, as a leader and as, the guy who leads the group, you're always going to, get the blame. Just kind of how, like, whenever the offense doesn't play good or when the team doesn't play good, the quarterback is going to get the blame. So, I mean, it's part of the business. It sucks, but, at the end of the day, we get paid to perform. And when you don't perform, changes are going to be made.
What if I'm not? Can you, if you were the coordinator, would you have done some things differently? Are there some things that Jack did that you like really disagreed with, or were you largely sort of in tune with what he wanted?
I know there's nothing that he did that I largely disagree with. At the end of the day, I think we would all do things differently. But again, it's easier to say that when we're sitting down and the pressure's not on you and your job's not on the line, and you know what I mean. So it's easy to say now what we would do, but in the moments of the game when things are going on, no one knows what they're going to do. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I would have done this, this, and this. As players, I think we could have performed better.
But maybe in preparation, obviously in a game, like when you're in the heat of the moment, I mean, who knows? I mean, bullets are flying. Who knows what's going to happen? I get it.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, like, week to week, did you feel like you guys were prepped properly, or you know what I mean? You knew, you expected what you saw. You were never surprised. Those kinds of things.
No, how I genuinely feel when it comes to coaching versus players, I'm a firm believer of I've never seen a pencil win a game. A coach's job is to try to put you in the best position to make plays. But at the end of the day, the coach isn't the one out there telling you to play the double team or to catch the interception or to react fast and hustle to the ball. So, I mean, there's definitely things that he can instill to give us more confidence. And I'm sure he would say, I wish I could have done a couple things differently to put my guys in better situations.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, it's not Del Rio's fault why, you know what I mean, a guy doesn't win his pass rush rep or a guy loses one-on-one man-to-man matchup rep. So I'm not in the business of saying it was a coach's fault. I'm always going to lean more to the side of, players could have done a better job. So, that's just my opinion.
So we've been trying to figure out why was the defense so much better last year with largely the same personnel. I know that Montez and Chase got traded, but in the season, and statistically you were about the same when you had Montez and Chase with you. So we're trying to figure out, did offenses prepare differently? Did they do something differently against you this year versus last year? Or are you guys just not playing as well? And you can even talk about that individually. Are you playing as well this year as you did last year?
Well, that's a trick question for me. As far as the defense, right, I think losing, Coach Harris hurt, losing Defoe and Jeremy Reeves, veterans on the defensive side, hurt. A lot of younger guys have to step up, and with that comes growing pains. Losing Cole Holcomb hurt. I feel like Cody Barton replaced him, but then he got hurt. So then it's just, you know what I mean? So I think that hurt. Obviously teams weren't caught up to what we were doing defensively, and, they did a good job game planning us. I can point out a lot of things as to why we're not playing good, but, this league is a year-to-year league, so even with the same personnel year in and year out, things are going to be different,
I know that no one's 100%, right? You guys are all banged up, and you've been a professional football player for a long time. But there are people that whisper kind of behind the scenes that are like, you know what, John's not saying anything, but he's not 100%. He's been hurt all year. What do you say to that?
I mean, kind of like you said, no one plays at 100%. Am I dealing with things? Yeah, sure. But, I mean, nothing that I feel like I haven't dealt with similarly in the past year. So, no, I mean, I'm fine. Again, no one's 100% at this point.
Right.
So that's not really – yeah.
What about the report that there was some sort of incident on the sideline that the cameras didn't capture, and I guess they asked Coach about it, but he didn't say that maybe like Bieniemy and Jack got into it, and then maybe all of a sudden you got into it. Can you speak to that? Was there an incident?
Yeah, I would tell you if there was an incident, and I've had my fair share of incidents, but I have no idea. I mean, during the course of the game, I'm talking to the team, trying to, spark them up, be an igniter, trying to do something to save the situation. But as far as like an incident, I mean, I guess Coach Del Rio got into it with somebody. I couldn't tell you who. I mean, when you're losing like that on a primetime game, emotions are high, so I understand it. But I have no idea what happened.
So after Jack gets fired, I don't even know what your relationship with Jack was, but do you talk to him after he's gone? Do you say, all right, man?
Yeah, no, I reached out to him, told him I appreciate him for everything he's done and wish him and his family nothing but the best. And, he sent a nice message back and told me to continue to lead and, be true to who I am. And, yeah, it was very, we had a good relationship.
Right.
So, yeah, I reached out to him after.
What do you expect Ron to do? Like, what can Ron do differently?
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about what changes are going to come. I'm not a big believer in expectations because expectations just lead to disappointment. So I'm a big believer I just hold myself to standards. And as long as I achieve those standards, regardless of the outcome, I can, go to sleep at night. So I don't have expectations when it comes to just about anything in my life. I just have standards that I live to and, yeah, take everything at face value.
All right, so what's happened for you and the team since Thanksgiving? Since Ron's taken over the defensive play calling, has he talked to you guys yet?
Coach Rivera called me and told me that he was going to be taking over, but we had off after the game Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then today's our off day. Then we come back again on Tuesday. So I haven't had a chance to speak to him in person yet, or we haven't met as a team yet. So that'll be happening tomorrow.
John, were you salty on the sideline when Dak was chomping on a turkey leg late in the game? I mean, I looked at it, I was like, oh, my God, like the Commanders players, they've got to be just outraged.
No. That was disrespectful.
You're upset at yourself, too, for, the team allowing 45 points, but
no, that was too much.
That is planned disrespect by the Cowboys.
That's fine. Everybody's going to do that when they're up and they're winning. That's fine. Little stuff like that doesn't get to me. All right, whatever. You want to eat, get a little turkey leg on the sideline, that's fine. Whatever.
Oh, that was killing me.
So
everyone murdering me.
Everyone in the world saw your comments after the first Giant loss. You were very pissed in the locker room. Mm-hmm. How did you feel after the second loss and obviously after this loss to the Cowboys?
I mean, very similar. It's frustrating, but like I said before, what I said after the first Giants game, that's how the entire team feels. I'm not the only one who feels that way, so. Right. It's frustrating. Nobody wants to lose, especially like that on primetime games. I feel like, as a defense, we just haven't performed this year, so it's frustrating. But, every time I talk to the media, sitting here getting mad about it's not going to do anything. So
I think I've asked you this before, John. I mean, you're so used at Stonebridge. I saw you play in the state, I think it was the state regionals. But you were what's the character's name in Fast Time at Ridgemont High? I always
Spicoli.
No, the black guy. The football player.
I know you. Forrest Whitaker's the
Forrest
actor.
Whitaker's. I always compared you to Forrest Whitaker's
what's his name?
Character.
Jefferson.
I
think
when he was so pissed because his car got pummeled and he destroyed the. I always compared you to him because that's how you played. You just destroyed people, and you didn't lose much in high school. You barely lost in college. You won a national championship. You would lose maybe 2 games in college, maybe, mostly 1. And now you're in a situation, now look, you're getting paid. You're making a great living, but you're losing double-digit games some of these seasons. How do you feel about that compared to how you were brought up?
It's definitely tough. And I think the hardest thing is growing up here and being a fan of this team long before I played here. It's even more personal. You know what I mean? When you don't have that emotional attachment, almost like that school pride, because a lot of guys, they don't have the school pride because they never grew up, for example, a Cowboys fan. They just got drafted to that team. And obviously there's a lot of pride for the organization you represent. I'm not saying that. But, like, growing up in this area, going to the training camps, following them, supporting them, rooting for them for 5 to 10 years before I even came on the team, it sucks because I want to win, but more importantly than that, I want to win here. You know what I mean? If winning was my only goal, I want to sign a contract back here. I would have went to free agency and I would have went to the best team. Mm-hmm. But winning somewhere else wouldn't feel the same for me. So I genuinely could say, like, I want to win here more than anything, more than making money, more than making Pro Bowls, just because I know what this city is going to be like when we do start winning. So, I mean, it's tough. It really is. But, you know, as frustrating as it gets, I'm overly optimistic because the idea of winning here just is something that I'm going to achieve before I exit this league, God willing. So it's tough, but it definitely gives me the resolve to, you know, come back year and year with even more optimism because I truly believe we found our quarterback. We have great pieces around us. Now we're just missing that touch that's going to take us to the next level. And what that is, I don't know. But I think there's a level of certainty an organization has when you know we have our quarterback. Because you can, with anything else, nothing else matters. If you have that guy quarterback, you have a chance. Now, as a defense, we have to give him more opportunities. We have to get the ball taken away. When he does turn the ball over, we can't let touchdowns happen. We got to let field goals happen. And, you know, that's something we're going to have to continue to get better at. But I genuinely, you know, think that we're going to win here before my time's up. And I want to be here for it.
But this is going to be your third coaching staff.
Yeah.
And it could be Sam Howell's third different system.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, how many quarterbacks has Baker Mayfield has? How many quarterbacks has all these other quarterbacks have? So no one's going to feel bad for you. You know, the cream always rises to the top, and you either got to deal with it or you can't play in this league. So
I wanted to ask you a general NFL question. You faced some really good offenses. Buffalo, you faced Philadelphia twice. You faced Dallas. Which is the best offense that you think you faced, toughest to defend against?
I would say Philadelphia, and because when you look at Philadelphia, in my opinion, they're a very simple offense. You know what they're going to do, but everybody's on the same page, and they know Jalen Hurts' limitations. They know what he's really great at. They know what their offensive line is really great at, and they play to that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not out there doing things that don't make sense for them. So when you look at their offensive line, all five of them play really well together. They call plays that really work for what they do best. The running backs they have, the type of quarterback they have, they utilize it. They're not scared to use them, and they use them in such a smart way. Then on top of that, they're giving Antonio Brown, number 11.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown. They're giving him multiple opportunities for jump balls and giving him opportunities. And just everything they do makes sense. They're cohesive. They're unified. And it's just a well-oiled machine. So for that, I'd say that is probably, you know, the hardest offense. I think you can get to Josh Allen a little bit, even though he is a gunslinger. I think when you have a quarterback who's really hard to rattle, who's really hard to shake, has the ability to make all the throws, they run plays that put him in a great position more times than not, and he has a great, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of good things going for him.
Joined by Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. He's presented by Main Street Bank. Cheer local, bank local. Put their team in your office. Visit mstreetbank.com for more information. So were you and all the Bama dudes on the roster on a text thread just goofing on those Auburn losers over the weekend after you guys beat them in the Iron Bowl? I mean, what a crazy ending.
That was the best ending since my freshman year, and God, it felt so good to see all those Auburn fans cry and just everything. That was such a gratifying feeling. There was nothing like it.
Hey, how was your Thanksgiving beyond the game? So you had your Thanksgiving Friday. I think we talked to you about this. What was it like for you?
It was good. I actually stayed in Dallas after the game. My wife's family came in. Again, we all celebrated. The next day I left out, and then yesterday celebrated with my family. So it was cool. So I had like 2 Thanksgiving dinners. It was cool just hanging around family, you know, not have to talk about ball and just, you know, be with one another. Very blessed for that.
What was the number one thing that you crushed? Like, what's your go-to?
Stuffing. I love stuffing.
Stuffing.
That is my favorite Thanksgiving
so good.
dish.
Yeah.
Gravy or no gravy? Has to be gravy.
No gravy.
Right? No gravy?
I'm a no gravy.
You're not a
stuffing
gravy guy?
I love gravy.
But you put gravy on stuffing?
I put
gravy on my mashed potatoes, but mac and cheese and stuffing, I'll literally just, my first plate is nothing but that.
I like to mix it all up.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
I mix it all up.
Do you have a go-to dessert?
I'm not a big dessert guy. Like, dessert's like a sacrilegious word in my household. I try to stay away from that.
Huh.
So I don't eat it too much. But favorite dessert, I don't know. Anything vanilla. I'm not super picky.
So you don't like apple pie?
I love apple pie, actually, now that you mentioned it, with vanilla.
With vanilla ice cream right on top. There you go.
There you go.
Winner.
All right, John, listen, man,
All
it's a tough time. You're a good sport. We try to ask you,
to ask you some tough questions.
Well, yeah, like real questions.
We have to, yeah.
You know, we don't try to just, it is what it is, man. I know you say that all the time, but it is what it is. It sucks.
It's one of those seasons.
I mean, you thought Philly's offense is good. Wait till you try to.
Yeah, how are you going to stop Tyreek?
Yeah, I mean, that's scary.
Got to get to Tua.
Yeah.
And
well, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see, how Coach Rivera is going to lead the show. Obviously my faith is in him, and we're going to go out there and put our best foot forward, man. That's all we can do. Like I always tell the guys, man, even though, we don't worry about playoffs, we still have a lot to play for. So there's never a time to pack it in, you could say. And there's always something to prove. You're always looking to be replaced, and you're always responsible for the film you put out there. Because when other teams watch it, they don't know what your record is on that film. All they know is that's the film you put out there. So never let your record or circumstance dictate how much effort you give into something, because you will be judged on that.
Right. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Yep, appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
See you, man.